It is a pleasure to meet you at this opportunity to announce an important part of the concern business solutions and the economy structure enhancement, which relates to previous day-by-day reports, brief reading on U.S. economy sectors, employment, and city of Pittsburgh, an example, the sectors and employment. You can visit the latest edition to read the brief reading to the on the chart. The other brief on World Economic Forum, the Global Risk Report for year 2013, or the report for 2013. Let me start first with what brings those day-by-day reports much easier to understand the limitations and the solution. The business solution has an important part relates to economy structure enhancement, which brings number of things to focus. Let me start with the what concern countries' administrative divisions. If we take United States as an example, U.S. states is the administrative divisions, and the rest of the structure that comes cities, municipalities, cities, and towns. The Atif Entertainment offers a number of things relates to the business solutions or the economy structure enhancement, which is the financial structure. It does offer two choices to each country administrative divisions. And let me say, take states on United States. Their choices, they can get part of the economy structure of each state, and their financial structure of each state. Number of things will be listed on a website. Each state can obtain their own domain to find those things which is not available at this moment on their websites. Each state has website and their administrative divisions or municipalities. Let me just focus on the cities. None of them, they have those important things which relates to the financial structure. If you remember, the economy structure and the financial structure in specific are supposed to consist of national level, states level, cities level, and businesses level. At this moment, it is national level works through a specific limited financial network. If you remember, economy, U.S. economy works on 2% of total financial tools. More details available upon request at any time, in a seminar, in a meeting, an appointment with any officials, their honor at the highest level, the President of the United States, Congress, Senate and House of Representatives, states, governors. Full details becomes available upon their request. And similarities apply with other countries, levels of responsibility. Let me get back to the two choices. The business solution offers two choices: either to choose their own existed website and linked to those few things needs to exist, which relates to the financial structure of each state, and through few readings it does bring financial networks, financial tools. These are just an example to become more efficient on their growth, and it does give them the ability to generate billions of dollars every day. Relates to the contract and contracting and the availabilities, and how it does work through resources management, resources allocation, investment management, financial management, and investment management, which does not ignore. It is very important to know how to work the factors of production more efficient. Everything becomes available. Their choice is to get the those things to become available for their own reading, or they can bring part of it through the state's website or their city's websites to connect investors and investment and the states, and much of things relates to their growth cycle. The other option, they will be offered a website, and they can choose their own domain to link it or to connect it to their existing website, which includes those things, and it will be briefed at any opportunity to any business reception on cities or states, brief details on what needs to get done on those solutions, which brings much of growth to states. And I can refer to the city of Los Angeles as an example, entitled to between $2 trillion to $12 trillion growth on their city budget, $6 trillion on average. That's just an example, and there is about 400 cities in the United States, either similar or less gross amount, and with much of growth. That in addition to what the states, each state has on growth, in addition to what the national gross domestic product has, the growth, it works through several levels. And not to forget, in my previous message I mentioned business solutions offers between 4 to 6 growth levels to back companies in each city of each state on their financial difficulties, to adjust or to maintain their growth forward, either development or innovation or any type of adjustment to keep their growth forward, and none of difficulties will be existed. In addition to a number of things, you can call it financial alternatives, brings much of risk. The issuance of securities and allocate part of the resources on expenditure, which brings a number of fluctuations, and it does decrease investment position either on cities or on state or on national level, and it does eliminate or avoid the debt ceiling increases, which reflects on the investment position in several ways. In other words, there will be a much focus on real income growth cycles. More than 226 main and derivative industries growth cycles will be improved, and for much growth on number of levels, well connected at national level, state level, cities level, and businesses level. And that is fastest way does require a number of things becomes available on those few things on the website that will be offered, and each state or their cities, they will have their own domain to keep it. It does facilitate their availabilities towards more growth with their own financial networks, their own financial tools, in addition to what existed on national level. And do not forget that I mentioned US economy works on 2% only of the total financial tools, which means much of growth will be generated with additional tools. Full details available upon request, and that's an indirect, not critics, but points to their honor, the Federal Reserve districts and the Federal Reserve for an extra effort to locate and allocate more financial networks, more financial tools to increase the efficiency of the financial markets, the efficiency of the commodities markets, and it does bring much of growth on revenues. The real problem on the federal budget deficit. And if you notice the chart of Pittsburgh and the United States, it does refer to much of cuts on government employment, which brings and other sectors. But these kind of impacts from the debt ceiling increases, or any form of borrowing, or any effort similar to physical cliff, which brings fewer obligations, it does lead to those cuts on employment, but not just on government, state, local, and federal, but it gets beyond in forms of taxes and in forms of negative impacts on the investment position, solvable. All those limitations or difficulties are solvable, and I refer, as I referred several times, United States economy has huge availabilities and subjects to an immediate growth worth not less than $26 trillion in 24 hours becomes available just only on the financial industry. And the United States has more than 226 main and derivative industries. And it does refer to how the US economy and the world financial system suffered recession from the derivative industry, brought a negative performance, and it did reflect on the entire economy and the financial system of the world. And that is derivative industry named mortgage investment industry, which can be solved through too many ways, those 4 to 6 growth levels. It gets few hours contracts and contracting. Things will be well managed through the too many industries. And let me just give a fast reading on a list of solutions that's applied on the United States economy Other economies similarly supplied according to each economy availabilities, which focus on the economy ability to contract and contracting on those available industries. And the website it offers financial networks and financial tools available to entire world countries, but according to each country availabilities. United States through their entire states, and entire states through their entire cities, each will get the chance to focus on their own financial networks, financial tools, which leads to more growth and more ability or enhancement on their financial markets, their commodities markets, and that's on several levels. The economy structure consists of several structures: national level, states level, cities level, and businesses level. Each of those levels, it does require a number of things. I just mentioned an example, and much of things becomes available on those website, and it will be offered two choices: the states or the cities to decide to work on through their own existing websites, and they can keep much of it on for their own work, or they can publish part of it, and another website will be well maintained and prepared to them, and they can choose their own domain to continue with more enhancement on their existing availabilities. It is a pleasure to conclude the brief reading, which refers to the direct solutions to the World Economic Forum for 2013, the financial, the Global Risk Report 2013, either through the entire environment of each country. It is economy structure, financial structure, and how extra financial networks, financial tools improves their performance on financial markets, their existing economy structure, if it needs more enhancement, more effort to improve other areas, related area, the trade, imports and exports, and in other world trade transformation, which relates to industries development. It does clear, and you can visit the Global Risk Report. It does clear a number of almost everything on those risks. And if you remember the financial risk, how it does happen on two cycles I mentioned in previous reports, and the Federal Reserve need to focus much more to focus on real income growth cycle. Economics focus on factors of production, and factors of production, it works through the increase of the gross domestic product or the national income. It does not take attention to financial alternatives full of a number of risks if not managed very well, and focus on the resources to investment to bring a return of the investment to finance the what they call it, structured finance. It's borrowing from either securities or any form of borrowing. It's a debt, an obligation, and it needs to be paid back. But if it gets through spending, does not add or bring back those invested amount of money, it brings much of growth, and it does add much of debt, and that's an indirect critique to the rapid increase on any country internal or external debt. In the United States, in 6 years, national debt increased by $14 trillion. And with my full respect, it could be prevented without any growth of debt. Much of details available to their honor, the President of the United States of America, their honor, the Congress, Senate and House of Representatives, His Honor the Chairman of the Federal Reserve and the Presidents of the Federal Reserve Districts and the Treasury Department, former secretaries or the deputy in charge, much of brief, valuable brief, and business is business. Economics is not an easy science. It does match a huge number of economic indicators with statistics and mathematics to improve the quality of life, the management of the number of things for more or towards more growth. In other words, the total clearance of debt is possible. 24 hours, the $26 trillion available at any time, any moment, with full details, which leads to a total clearance of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac works on the derivative industry as supposed to have any reflection on the economy performance, but it did happen since early before 2007 and it continued until today. The $26 trillion growth, 24 hours it does clear Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac $8 trillion debt, and it does it won't become necessary to bail out any company. A tradition started since 1976. Most of those, part of those companies or corporations employment, half of it overseas. It's not a problem, but they can employ as much as they want if the growth remains. They can remain either in domestic range or in foreign range, but there will be much of attraction to work in advanced economies and generate much growth on emerging economies and developing economies. But those subject to final decision of each company. In other words, solutions brings much of options to focus on growth on real income, not on what leads to growth of debt, and narrow the economy structure within two cycles of a financial risk cycle and securities cycle. And I can refer very fast. The financial risk cycle starts with the financial risk, credit risk, interest rate risk, liquidity risk, default risk, operational risk, and it does lead to settlement risks, which brings value at risk, goods and services. And if you remember the repurchase agreement, it brings it on less value at risk, which leads to, if it remains and continues, it does lead to volatility risk. And you can get back to those definitions to find more reading, which means the maximum risk, which can be prevented at the beginning from the with more focus on the real income. The credit risk will be avoided, and it does keep the growth forward. But continuation of borrowing without focus on the real income growth, it gives the financial risk more continuation until it gets to the volatility risk if not managed well. The other cycle, which is the security cycle, start with the collateralized fund obligation. It leads to collateralized debt obligation. It comes to assets-backed securities. Everybody knows the financial services full of those transactions. It does lead to either repurchase agreement with less value or continuation of the borrowing, which leads sooner or later to a less value, or if the investment or the business under the focus found several exits for more growth, they survive. But it does refer to the FDIC take over financial institutions every year, which means the financial services has much of limitations, and I refer to the financial networks and the financial tools to increase growth on revenues and growth on financial markets and commodities markets of each geographical area, either cities or states, and it does bring growth on national level, which brings much pressure and indirect pressure on the on the Federal Reserve districts and Treasury Department to focus on more sources of revenues. These solutions brings everything available with much of growth you cannot even imagine. Advanced economies has huge levels of growth to locate and allocate, and keeps it forward. It is a pleasure to brief these directions of growth on two choices for the geographical areas of each country or their administrative divisions, states, provinces, regions, and their municipalities, cities, towns, to become involved on more effort on their economy structure enhancement. And that's an example to increase their financial networks, financial tools, more efficiency on their financial markets and commodities markets towards much growth on revenues and gross domestic product. $26 trillion, that's an example to United States economy on the just financial industry, available at any time. $200 trillion, an increase growth on industrial development, another $200 trillion on cities, commodities markets, financial markets, business service charge, it's 6% of total gross amount. Anytime, any moment, list of solutions are available to His Honor, President of the United States, Their Honor, Congress, Senate, and House of Representatives, and to Their Honor, States governors. Possibility of business receptions to connect them on those solutions, and with direct contact towards much of contracts and contracting on their availabilities. Thank you very much, and Happy New Year.